Dear friends, in last lecture we discussed about ring, integral domain and fields. The algebraic structure with two binary operation. We took certain examples to understand the basic definitions of these algebraic structure with two binary operation. Today we will discuss about certain basic results based on the algebraic structures with two binary operation. The first one is, let D be integral domain such that AB is equal to AC and A is not equal to 0, then B is equal to C. It means cancellation law holds basically. So to find the solution of this, it is just simple one. We take AB is equal to AC. We know that this A, B, C belongs to D, and we also know that A is not equal to 0. And 0 is the additivity of the integral domain D. Since D is the integral domain, it means the additive inverse of each element exists because D is a ring also. So it means AB minus AC should be equal to AC minus AC. It means AB minus AC should be equal to 0. So by applying the distributive law, A minus BC equal to 0. Now the integral domain. We know that integral domains are the commutative rings which are free from the zero dividers. It means either A is 0 or B minus C is 0, but we know that A is not equal to 0. So this implies since A is not equal to 0 and D is integral domain, what does it implies? B minus C equal to 0, and this implies B should be equal to C. So this is just simple result. We show that in the case of integral domain, the cancellation law holds. Now, the next small problem says, if we take the two ideals of a ring, then their intersection is also an integral domain. So let J and K are two integral domains. Oh, sorry, two ideals, not integral domain, two ideals of ring R. Then J intersection K is also an ideal of R. Okay. So to prove it, J intersection K is an ideal, we have to prove the three things only. So first of all, J and K are two ideals. It means 0 belongs to J and 0 belongs to K. What does it imply? This implies 0 belongs to J intersection K. First condition is fulfilled. The additive identity of the ring belongs to J intersection K. Now the second thing, let A comma B belongs to J intersection K. What does it implies? A belongs to J and B belongs to J. Okay. So it means A comma B belongs to J and A comma B belongs to K. Now J and K are the ideals. What does it implies? This implies A minus B belongs to J and A minus B belongs to K. What does it implies? It implies that A minus B belongs to J intersection K. So second condition is also satisfied. Now let us take one R belongs to capital R and A belongs to J intersection K. Again, if A belongs to J intersection K, this implies A belongs to J and A belongs to K. Again, J and K are the ideals. What does it implies? It implies AR and RA both belongs to J and AR and RA belongs to K also. What does it implies? It implies AR comma RA belongs to J intersection K. So the third condition is also satisfied. It means J intersection K is an ideal. Result, even a theorem which says every finite integral domain is a field. Every finite integral domain is a field. So next theorem is prove that every finite integral domain is a field. So, the proof of it, quite simple. Let D is equal to A1, A2, An is a finite integral. Now, what we want to prove? We want to prove that this particular integral domain is a field. To prove that it is a field, we have to prove two things. Number one, the existence of identity, and number two, every element has a multiplicative inverse. So let's suppose, let we take an element A from D which is not 0, which is not equal to 0. Now we can consider n elements which are AA1, AA2, AAN. So we get these elements AA1, AA2, AAN. Now we claim that these all elements are distinct. So we claim that all elements are distinct. So let's suppose that AAI is equal to AJ. So we claim that we want to prove that all of these elements are distinct. Let's suppose that two elements are same, AI is equal to AJ. But we know that in the case of the integral domain, cancellation law holds. We just prove it. So what does it imply? This implies AI is equal to AJ. This is with the help of cancellation law, because in the case of integral domain, cancellation law holds. Okay. So it means that all of these should be distinct. A also belongs to D. So it means, since all of these are distinct, we can say that D is basically AA1, AA2 and AA. So we can say that this is just rearrangement of the elements of D. These both are same. This is just rearrangement of the elements of D. Now we'll try to find the identity element. So I rub it and we try to find the identity element. So till now what we have obtained, we obtained that for 0 not equal to A belongs to D, D can be rearranged as AA1, AA2, AA. Okay, so now let us try to find the existence of the identity element. So to do that, this A belongs to D, clearly A belongs to D, and D is the only this set. What this implies? This implies for some I, A should be equal to A into AI, because A belongs to D and this set only, it implies that A should be equal to AI for some AI. Now let us take another element, X belongs to D. Let X belongs to D. So what does it imply? This implies that X should be equal to AJ for some J greater than equal to 1, less than equal to N. Now let us try to find A into X. What is the value of AX? Now this A into X will be Now what is A? A is AAI into X, and this can be written as A into AIX. So again using the cancellation law, AX equal to AAIX. This means what we get? A and A both are same, so we can conclude that X is equal to AIX. Similarly, we can prove that it is equal to X into AI. So from here, what we can say that this AI is the identity element. So this implies AI is identity element, and say AI is equal to 1. So till now what we have done, first thing, since A belongs to D, so and D is A1, A into A1, A into A2, A into AN, so this A should be written as A into AI for some I. Now let us take any another element X. So this X can be written as A into AJ. So what is the value of A into X? A into X is A into AI into X. So from here we get, by using the associative property with respect to multiplication, A is equal to AIX. So from here what we can conclude that this X should be equal to AIX. And similarly, if we take the reverse order, we can conclude also that X, it is equal to X into AI. So by using the definition of identity element, we can conclude that this AI is an identity element. So we name this identity element as 1. Now let us try to find the inverse of each element. We conclude that what we find that this AI is the inverse element, or this AI is the identity element. So what we find that this A is equal to AI, and we find that AI is the identity element, and we name it, say AI is equal to 1. Once again, let X belongs to D, let X be the any element, X is equal to, X belongs to D. Now what we want to prove that? We want to find the inverse of it. So we want to find the inverse of this element. So how we can find the inverse? To find the inverse, what we have to do? Now let us take any element. X belongs to this. So it means, or let us suppose this, A into AI is equal to 1. We find that AI is equal to 1. So we can write that 1 is the identity element. So 1 is the identity element. So 1 should be written as, can be written as 1 into A into AK for some K, for some K. So what does it implies? It implies that AK is the inverse of A. This implies that AK is the inverse of A. This implies that AK is the inverse of A. Therefore, we have taken A as any arbitrary element, and we find the inverse also. We find the identity element as well as we find the inverse element. So this implies that this integral domain is a field. So the last result which we want to prove that is ZP. P is a prime number. ZP plus dot is a field. So till now we know that this ZP plus dot is a ring, is a commutative ring with its commutative, it is sufficient. This is commutative ring. Now if we prove that this is an integral domain, then we can use the previous theorem which says every finite integral domain is a field. So we need to prove that it is a integral. Required to prove is ZP plus dot is an integral domain. An integral domain means it is free from zero divisors. We want to prove that it is free from zero divisor. So let us take A comma B belongs to ZP such that A with this operation B is equal to 0. Means it is congruent to 0 mod P. It is 0 mod P. Basically it means AB is equal to 0 mod P. So what it implies? It implies that P divides AB. Now P is a prime number. So P can divide either one or itself. So if P divides AB, it implies that either P divides A or P divides B. Either P divides A or P divides B. Now if P divides A, what does it mean? This implies A is congruent to 0 mod P or B is congruent to 0 mod P, or in other words we can say that A is 0 or B is 0. It means Z plus dot is a integral domain, and we know that every finite integral domain is a field. This implies Z plus dot is a field. Thank you. This is all for the today's lecture.